Welcome to JJ Isaacson Field for this presentation of Tuesday Night Baseball on the Corn Belt League Network. First game of our doubleheader between the Black Sox and the Filthballers, number 2 and number 1 in the CBL Standings respectively. Tyler Reidy and Jaden Taylor here with you. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. And Jaden, we've seen dramatic games all week long, and this one certainly the most dramatic yet. Regular season titles on the line here today.
Yeah, we're finally getting down to the back half of this season, getting down to the final stretch, just a week away from the start of the postseason. So this is going to clinch it up either way. If the Black Sox cannot be able to beat the Filthballers here today and get some help from the Bombers, the Filthballers will clinch themselves as back-to-back regular season titles here in the Corn Belt League. And, they've been the team to beat all season long. We started off, an 8-game winning streak to start off this season. They had a couple troubles here and there with a couple teams like the Rail Riders, the loss to the Bombers, and a couple losses to the Crop Dusters. But outside of that, they've been really immaculate all season long, and a big reason for it has been their pitching.
So let's take you through the scores from the past few days. Going back to Sunday, first of all, the Filthballers picked up a huge walk-off victory, 3-2 over the Crop Dusters. Trevor Winterstein, who we'll get to in a moment, scoring the game-winning run on the base paths. Black Sox, a shutout win there as well. So both these teams have been hot. Filthballers were not in action on yesterday, but the Black Sox were, and they keep their regular season title hopes alive with a 6-1 victory over the Crop Dusters to set it up here today.
Yeah, you're able to keep yourself alive and keep yourself in the ability for them to keep themselves alive for the top spot here in the Corn Belt League standings. It was a needed win over the Crop Dusters, a solid start on both ends for the pitching staff. But the question here to be today is, how can their number 3 in Ryland Wallingford be able to help out the two guys they've been able to use all season? Aaron Madden as well as Brandon Krebs have been the kind of main two guys. We've seen Eli Cernkovich as well, another piece to this pitching staff. But Wallingford here going to be in a little bit of a different, non-comfortable position to an extent, and see how we can go up against the best team here in the Corn Belt League.
So you take a look at the standings, setting up for this Tuesday evening showcase. Filthballers still on top, 19-4. The Black Sox are 3 games back at 15-6. We'll take you through the regular season title scenarios in a moment here, but we saw some big games of the Haymakers, Bombers, Rail Riders fighting for that middle of the pack position, but it's all about the top here today. So you look at the 3-game slate. Filthballers are playing 2, first against the Black Sox, then the Bombers limp into this one at 8 o'clock after a 9-3 loss to the Haymakers last night. But Filthballers just played a doubleheader a little over a week ago against the Red Raiders, so they should be well prepared for this slate.
Yeah, it's the 3rd doubleheader all season. We saw them have a kind of a supposed to be a doubleheader, but a 9-inning game against the Red Raiders this season. They also had that doubleheader 2 weeks ago, and they had another doubleheader back in June. So I think they're really used to this kind of setup. It's the way the schedule has given them this season. They have 3-4 days off, and they have 2 games back-to-back on a night. And I'm talking to Coach Hobbs. You talk about it here today, a hot 95-degree type of day, very humid. They're used to this. They go out and win a ball game, and that's been the mentality each and every day. Go in and be 1-0 today.
So you look at the scenario for this regular season title, and it is very simple. Filthballers have 4 games remaining, including today. Black Sox with 3 games remaining, including today, and it's simple. Filthballers, all they have to do is win one of these last 4 games, and they are the champions. And the Black Sox, on the other hand, must win out and have the Filthballers lose out. So we will have the national anthem and resume our pregame show when we return, finishing this one out and getting ready for first pitch here on the Corn Belt League Network. Welcome back. First pitch just moments away here at JJ Isaacson Field. Number 1 team in the league, the Filthballers, at 19-4, going up against the 15-6 Black Sox with a regular season title on the line. All the Filthballers need to do is win 1 game out of the 2 today, and they are champions for the regular season. So let's take a look at how these 2 teams have matched up coming into the game. They've met 3 times this year. The Filthballers are 3-0, and not only have they showcased their dominance over the Black Sox, but their ability to win in different ways. You see them pitch well in the 4-3 win, the 6-4 win, and then that 11-0 blowout back on June 14th shows their ability to swing the bat as well.
Yeah, it was more or less kind of a bullpen day on June 14th for the Black Sox, and the Filthballers just put it on. The offensive showcase was there with an easy 11 runs for them, and I think it's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. It's hard to beat a team 4 times. But what's going to have to happen for the Filthballers here today, and they have a really good guy on the mound to be able to do it. Offensively on the other end, though, I mean, the Black Sox do easily have, outside of the Filthballers, in my opinion, the best offensive setup this season. It's a big reason they could be able to find a way to keep their hopes alive at a title.
And you take a look at the main man offensively for the Black Sox. It is Spencer Crane, batting 3rd in the middle of that lineup, with a batting average north of 350, OPS above 1,000, and he has raked against the Filthballers this year, belting a home run and driving in 3. And he will be leading it off against Justin Drury for the Filthballers here today.
Yeah, Drury's just been so dominant this season in 6 appearances so far. Just 9 walks. 6 appearances, right? 9 walks. 37 strikeouts on the other end. He's going to work a 4-pitch mix here today. The fastball, slider, and change's going to be the biggest 3. He'll mix in a kind of a 12-6 loopy curve times as well, but the put-away pitch is going to be his slider.
And his first pitch is in on the hands, popped up by Darius Hagan, and it is caught just in foul territory by Hunter Babe for out number 1.
That's a good start. You talk about efficiency. That was a big thing, really more for C.J. Fleeman, who I talked to before the game. That's been a big thing really for the entire Filthballers pitching staff. They want to make sure they stay efficient, which is kind of an odd thing to say. A lot of times you'll say this mentality of making sure they stay efficient every single time they go out there.
Ground ball past the glove of Drury, and a running throw made by Carrig, and Hunter Babe digs it out at first base. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and there is that efficiency. Justin Drury off to a fine start using his defense.
Yeah, and that's not an easy play whatsoever by Jason Carey. Again, one thing is it's a slow roller. You're going to work a lot on those in I.O. That's really the time I.O. a lot of times in and out before games that's the time you really want to work on your athleticism, see where you can be comfortable.
Now here is Spencer Crane, the right fielder. We just spotlighted moments ago. Takes one low, ball 1 from Drury, who comes in with a sub-2 ERA. And in his last start against the Haymakers, he was incredible, going 6 innings, striking out 6, didn't allow an earned run, only 3 hits, and he needed just 58 pitches, less than 10 per inning. Incredible effort on Thursday. But he plunks Spencer Crane on the shoulder, and it's a 2-out base runner for the Black Sox. Extends the inning to the catcher, Rusty Wortman.
And that's kind of been an emphasis for Drury, again, trying to make sure that he lowers his pitch count per inning. Started off the year in his first outing in just 4 innings of work against the Royal Blue Dogs, had 19 pitches per inning, so definitely a different look for him, but has gotten it back down 12, then 13, even to back out to 14 or 15, but he's keeping it in the low teens, and to really honestly think that he's able to keep it under 10, that's incredible to go that long and make sure he keeps it under 10 per inning.
So here's Wortman, the cleanup man. Team leading .424 batting average coming into the game, and he takes the first pitch strike from Drury. Wortman 2 for 5 with a triple against the Filthballers on the year. Crane at first base has not attempted to steal a bag this year. Well, 1 pitch from Drury, and time was called. See if the pitch is recorded. I don't believe it will be. So still 0-1.
I think a big thing for Wortman here is just such an ability to be able to get his hands to the ball. The big idea for a lot of hitters, especially to the middle of the order, is keeping the ball middle, right? Keep his hands middle. His spray chart has been really entirely up the middle all season long. He's had about 4 or 5 actual hits that have gone either to left or right field. So a really consistent hitter, and that's the mentality, right? Put it straight back where it came from. That's what Wortman's been doing all season.
Wind is blowing slightly in from center field today. Just a light breeze on this hot summer day. As it's 1-1 on Wortman, and he takes outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fastballs so far from Drury. You see him kind of moving his hands towards, right? It seems like he's kind of opening up a little bit. Kind of his glove side's falling off. That means his front side is opening up too much on the outside, and he's not able to get fully over his front leg. Really an emphasis here to really get over that front leg and find it over across the zone.
This is the first time he's seen the Black Sox this year. In his 7th start as he takes one up and away. Wortman in a hitter's count now. 3 balls, 1 strike. So an inning that started very efficiently, productively for Drury is starting to lengthen. Brandon Zwiener, the DH, is on deck.
If you're Wortman right now, you got to be establishing a fastball. You got to be expecting a fastball, coming right at you with Drury struggling so much to get over the front.
Lawn set, 3-1 pitch is on the inside, 3-2. So Drury, who had been consistently missing outside with that fastball, locates it well on the inside corner to fill the count. Crane will be in motion.
I would likely think you're going to see another fastball here. He's finally able to get that back again. You talked to him before the game. That's been the biggest thing for me. He really likes to work that fastball. He establishes it early. So if you're Wortman here on a big 3-2 pitch, make sure you're not chasing too much, but you see if you can poke something the other way in a fastball.
Drury trying to make sure Crane doesn't get too much of a lead before he takes off on the pitch. 3-2 on Wortman. Drury comes set. And the pitch inside. So he went away from the fastball, and Wortman did not offer. He takes ball 4, and now 2 on, 2 out for the DH, Zwiener.
Yeah, question here for Drury. I think he's maybe in his head a little bit too much. Hasn't quite fully felt that fastball. Just kind of the normal things that we've seen from him. Just be able to establish that fastball early. Has not quite done that so far, at least throughout these past 2 batters. And now if you're Drury, again, you maybe have to try to find some kind of gimme pitch. Allow your defense to make plays, which they've done so far here in the first. Make sure you don't give too much, especially after a really strong start to the inning.
First pitch to Zwiener is lined. Foul ball just over third. It'll be strike 1. See Zwiener aggressive going after that first pitch and put a barrel on it. Drury, despite the hit by pitch and walk, still get out of this inning with a very manageable pitch count. He's only at 11 with 2 away.
A big thing for Zwiener this season, already a 40% line drive percentage. So you saw that there. He was pouncing on that fastball early. Wanted to make sure that he could see that his truly best pitch that you can find in the barrel.
0-1 pitch. Off speed, and it bends onto the outside corner. No balls, 2 strikes. So Zwiener will have to battle now with 2 on, 2 out. Trying to get this game's first run in. Crane at second, Wortman at first.
Maybe try to establish the eye level here. Might go up top.
He does. And Zwiener flinches but holds back. Upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Again, I think more so than that was a setup pitch. I think you got to know that if you're Zwiener. He's going to go off speed here. Maybe expecting off speed. You haven't seen a ton of it. And very well could see the changeup you just saw 2 pitches ago.
1-2. On the outside, Zwiener stays with it and pokes it foul. Still 1-2. Zwiener has been swinging a hot bat, like you mentioned. 9 for his last 22 with 8 RBI, 3 doubles in his last 7 games.
Another good thing for him, again, this middle of the order, you're talking a lot of guys will try to pull the ball a little bit too much. His spray chart's really been kind of across the entire field this year, so he's able to really hit it any way it comes at him.
And he takes another one upstairs. So Drury going back and forth between that slider down and away and the fastball up, but Zwiener not having any issues yet with that combo. He's worked it to 2-2.
Yeah, again, maybe a thought process here. Maybe the off speed isn't quite there for Drury. He's really just used the entire fastball so far on this first.
Crane at second, Mortman at first. Drury's pitch. Another fastball. It's up and away. Now on 3-2. Both runners will be in motion. Dustin Sipe, the third baseman, in the on-deck circle.
If you're Drury right now, you got to figure a way to get out of this inning right now. This is a time where you need a pick-me-up pitch like no other, especially with a full count moving. Again, you can't give too much middle and allow Zwiener to put something on the barrel, but you have to make sure you find the zone here.
Comes set with the 3-2. And Zwiener reaches out, rolls it over to short. Jackson Horn charges and throws on the run for the out. So Drury executes low and away and gets Zwiener to roll over for a ground out to end the top of the first. Filthballers and their potent offense will come to bat when we return in the bottom of the first inning. Bottom of the first inning, Black Sox and Filthballers. Our Tuesday night baseball presentation. Trevor Winterstein leading off, and you take a look at his numbers coming in. He is our impact player at the top of this Filthballer lineup, and he scored the game-winning run with his base running on Sunday. And that 3-2 extra inning win over the Crop Dusters. And he takes a strike from Ryland Wallingford on the outside. Wallingford has made 8 appearances on the mound this season, but all have been out of the bullpen. This is his first start. He's thrown as many as 43 pitches in an outing this year, but that was way back in his first one on June 13th.
Yeah, that's going to be the kind of odd look for Wallingford here today, just how well he can work, maybe trying to go a longer type of day for him with not as many other guys available.
Winterstein stays hot. Single past second base and into right field. And speed threat on the bases to get things started for the Filthballers with Landon Geezer coming up.
Again, here's the thought process here for Wallingford, right? You have that speed that you've seen really. The 3 guys that I think have been the most dangerous on the base pass this season have been Winterstein here for the Filthballers, probably Braden Artzer for the Rail Riders, as well as Danny Spongberg for the Bombers, who luckily we've been able to see just in 2 days' time. But again, the thought process there, again, you may just have to freeze him a little bit. Take your time and allow him to get through.
And a base hit to left field. Winterstein moves up to second. Landon Geezer hits one hard. 2 on, nobody out for the Filthballers for the meat of their order. And Ryland Wallingford is going to have to buckle down here, just like Drury did in the top of the first.
Yeah, again, Wallingford really working a whip just north of 1.5 this season. So definitely an area to improve for him, but just about how we can get out of this, right? You want to make sure that if you're the Black Sox here to figure a way to keep this subtle, right? Your offense is still there, and you've already seen Drury struggle a little bit, so keep it manageable this entire way.
Good slider on the outside. Strike one to Jackson Horn. One of the main reasons the Filthballers needed to go to extra innings with the Crop Dusters on Sunday was base running mistakes. We saw several times they were caught stealing on the base paths, but in the end it was their base running aggressiveness that won them the game, so that'll be interesting to watch against the Black Sox here today. Wallingford checks back on Winterstein at second.
Yeah, again, you mentioned that just a lot of random mistakes that I think were partially just being a little bit too aggressive, and then just also sometimes guys just kind of thinking and not thinking too much of the catcher behind him, the defense behind him. So I think here just making sure that maybe not conservative, but making sure that you're smart, right? There's a fine line between, being aggressive and sometimes being stupid. And I think sometimes a couple of different plays, especially yesterday, or especially last time we saw him, there was some plays that definitely should not have been made, and definitely some easy throw-outs that could have taken away some chances for the Filthballers.
1-1 the count on Jackson Horn, and he swings and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wallingford, a fine pitch on that outside corner. Horn, the shortstop today out of Southeast Community College. He is the team leader in stolen bases with 14, and Winterstein is one behind him at 13 over at second base. So plenty of speed to worry about in the early part of this Filthballers order, and then you get into the power with guys like Anderson, Babe, and even Horn, who has a few extra base hits on the year. 1-2 pitch. He reaches out, pops it up. Young makes the catch at first. And a well-executed 2-strike offering from Wallingford gets out number 1. No advance from the runners.
And that's the exact kind of out you need if you're Wallingford, right? Sometimes a lot of guys, when you have 2 guys on and you maybe are thinking or overthrowing a little bit too much, you want to make sure you get that one yourself. So you're maybe trying to amp up yourself a little bit too much, and that's when problems can happen. Either you overthrow it or it gets away from the catcher. Sometimes you're just trying to do it, make sure you keep in the zone. You give something way too much in the heart of the plate, but a really good pitch right there for Wallingford to, just be able to make sure that we saw Horn there just barely miss, and then the defense easily makes a play and no runners advance.
Just off the outside corner, ball 1 to Brennan Anderson, and this is already a big moment in the game. High leverage situation, even though it's only the first. Brendan Anderson has been one of the premier hitters in the Corn Belt League, and he has a tremendous opportunity with 2 on, 1 out. Get his team off and running. Winterstein trying to get a massive secondary lead. Wallingford catches onto it and chases him back to the bag.
Yeah, this may be a setup that if you're the Black Sox right now, I know Coach Tunagol is really arguably one of the best coaches that we've seen here in this Corn Belt League, and a guy that maybe want to set some kind of pick play, working the second base, maybe a pick play working around, or either an inside move. We'll see what Wallingford looks at here for Winterstein.
Ripped foul off to the right side, 1-1. Anderson, team leading .426 batting average and an OPS north of 1100. He's tied for the Filthballer lead with a .500 batting average with men in scoring position. And 6 of his Corn Belt League leading 33 runs batted in have come against the Black Sox. Had a 5 RBI performance in the second meeting on June 14th, that 11-0 win.
It's incredible to think that Anderson almost doubles the second guy, not just for the Filthballers, but in the entire Corn Belt League in RBIs. He's just been so productive this season.
But he will not collect an RBI this time. Fine running catch out in center field by Stephen Larkin, and that's out number 2. And Wallingford navigating his way through the heart of this Filthballer order.
And again, sometimes if you're a guy that pitches to contact, which we've seen Wallingford be so far here today, those are the kind of things you need. Just get guys to miss. And I think Anderson trying to maybe poke that one the other way, was trying to push that in the right center gap, but just got under it. And then your defense is just able to be out there, and a speedy Larkin out there in center, just able to come on and make the play, and now you're just out away from getting out of this.
Hunter Babe steps in from the left side. First baseman for the Filthballers. Wallingford steps off again. His focus on Winterstein at second base. Wallingford has done a nice job balancing the management of the base runners and the hitters. Sometimes you'll see the pitcher get so wrapped up with the speed on the base pass that he'll hang one out over the plate or lose track of his command, but Wallingford has held both runner and hitter at bay ever since the two have gotten on. Want to know the count on Hunter Babe. Upstairs 2-0. I mentioned Anderson was tied for the team lead with the runners in scoring position batting average, and this is the man he's tied with. Babe also hitting .500 in those situations. Be a heck of an effort from Wallingford if he could make it through both.
And the momentum will just shift so much to the other end. It really gives you a lot of relief if you can figure a way out of a situation like this.
He will not get through both as that is ripped into right field. Spencer Crane goes down to a knee to keep it from going to the corner. That scores a run as Winterstein crosses home, and an RBI double down the line makes it 1-0 Filthballers as Hunter Babe comes through with 2 down.
A great piece of hitting right there. Maybe a little bit out in front was Babe on that piece on the outer half, but figured a way to find a barrel, and that's talking about using your hands. Really reached out to get that ball in the outer half and just shot it down the right field line, and that's a good way to start it off with the Filthballers, right? We talked about, in that last game that we saw for them up against the Crop Dusters, sometimes missed chances, right? A lot of guys in the base paths, but either, wrong decisions on the base paths or guys just couldn't come through with 2 runners on. That's a really good way to flip it, especially at the heart of this order.
RBI number 13 and double number 3 for Hunter Babe as that is popped out of play by Derek Sr., the catcher. Sr. hit the pinch hit, game-tying sac fly in the 7th inning. Remember, the Filthballers trailed 2-0 going into the bottom of the 7th against the Crop Dusters on Sunday, but put traffic on the base paths and got it tied up to force extra innings where they would pull it out with the win in the 8th. 0-1 pitch, way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And again, if you're Wallingford, we talk about minimizing, right? This is a point to where if you let this one get out of hand, you figured a way to work your way back and try to figure this out. 1 piece of damage is there. That's fine. You can give up 1 run here or there. The big question is 2, 3, 4 runs. When it starts to spiral, that can be the big problem.
Off the plate again, 2-1. Black Sox got to hope that Wallingford doesn't become timid after giving up not only 3 hits in the inning, but 3 hard-hit base knocks. As that is upstairs, 3 balls, 1 strike, and now we'll have a conference between the catcher Wortman and the pitcher Rylan Wallingford. And Jaden, what do you think the message is here in this mound meeting with 2 down?
Biggest thing is you got to find the zone. We saw it last night, right, with Coughlin and the Bombers. There's a difference between giving up a lot of walks and just giving up a bunch of free passes versus truly getting hit. And if you're Wallingford now, who is a pitch-to-contact guy, really just about a 68% weak contact so far this season, that's just what you have to get back to your bread and butter, especially when you're down the count.
But he puts Senior on with the walk, and that loads the bases with 2 away. Jason Carrick coming up with a big opportunity to extend the 1-run lead.
And I know I just there for a moment. He's not out there now, but I did see Aaron Madden at least going out and stretching in the bullpen. So we'll see again how long they want to go with Wallingford here. I was going to be honest, I really thought Srnkovic would be the guy here today. We'll see if they kind of switch it up a little bit, see how long they want to go with Wallingford and who might be past that. Talked about Brandon Krebs, who did a really good job 2 days ago. It was kind of a 3-guy day yesterday. Colby Mound for the Black Sox really shut down the Crop Dusters yesterday. That's kind of the question sometimes when you bring in guys that have been relievers this entire season. How can they adjust when they're a starter? It's a different type of preparation. It's a different type of really pitching mentality, right? If you're a reliever, you're going in there for a single job, and that's to set yourself down. For a starter, it can be a really different feeling because you're setting the tone for the game. You don't really quite as much know what you're getting into. You understand it as a reliever of how you can work back. Sometimes it can be a little bit uncomfortable, especially to start off with the reliever kind of being in the starter position.
Popped up by Carrig and caught by Caden Young at first. So the bases are left loaded, but the Filthballers get 1 on the RBI double from Hunter Babe. And in their pursuit of a regular season title, they're off to a fine start. 1-0 Filthballers as we go to the 2nd on the Corn Belt League Network. Top of the second inning, it is 1-0 Filthballers on the RBI double from first baseman Hunter Babe. And now Brandon Drury working with Justin Drury. Brandon Drury, the Cincinnati Reds infielder, but Justin Drury, the Filthballers pitcher, working with a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the second, facing Sipe, Blinn, and Larkin.
I think here you really saw in that first inning, Drury, again, not what he really wanted to start. We thought it would be a great inning, really efficient inning to start off with. 2 outs on 2 pitches after a pop-up and a ground out, but now through those last 3 batters, a hit by pitch, a walk, and then a really long count, a 3-2 count that ended up finally being a ground out. But again, there you go, 1 pitch, possibly 1 out here if Christensen can make a play as he does. But again, the efficiency is going to be a big thing here for the Filthballers here today. We talked about it, the double header can be a different kind of challenge a lot of times for different teams. Sometimes, again, setting yourself up for success pitching-wise, honestly, in my opinion, is more important than even guys coming up to the plate, because really, if you don't have that depth of pitching, question marks are going to come all the time, and you don't have the guys you can truly be confident with in every single day.
We all know one of the hardest things to do in baseball is sweep a doubleheader, but fortunately for the Filthballers, they don't need to do that to secure the title today, as Peyton Blinn slaps it foul for strike 1. Black Sox left 2 on base in the top of that first inning, putting Crane at second, Wortman at first, but Brandon Zwiener grounded out softly to shortstop Jackson Horn to end the threat. The 0-1 to Peyton Blinn is cut on and missed.
That's that kind of off speed that Drury needs to be able to find. It was almost all fastball in that first inning. It was really opening up a little bit too much. It was missing a lot of times arm side, but when he's able to really find that slider out in front, that's when it can be really dangerous, and a kind of sword half swing right there from Blinn. That's what he needs to get more often.
1-2. Blinn has scuffled against the Filthballers this year, going 0 for 6 with a strikeout. Trying to do some work with 1 out in the inning on Justin Drury with a 1-2 count. And he reaches and pokes 1 foul. Good defensive hack on a pitch up and away. Still 1-2.
I think if you're here in Drury, again, that was a really good you see that ball in the outer half, you could be a borderline, just chop it away. Maybe it's time here for Drury to go back to the off speed.
Another 1-2. That is just off the plate. Blinn, a good take, works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that's just a beautiful take right there for Blinn. That's a really hard borderline call to lay off of, but it's a good pitch, good execution, just barely off the end of the plate.
Drury fires again, and it's hit in the air, right field, carrying well, but the crosswind will keep it in the direction of Brendan Anderson out in right field, and he reels it in for out number 2. So after all, a pretty good swing from Peyton Blinn, but fortunately hung up just a little bit too long, and now 2 away, bases empty for Stephen Larkin.
Yeah, again here, if you're Drury, again, this is a point here, right? You want to be able to make sure that you can get out of this inning, right? That 3rd out is so important. And honestly, to a lot of guys, that 3rd out is always the hardest, right? You're always trying to maybe be a little bit too finessey a little bit with that 3rd out. So I think if you're here going up against Larkin, you want to go straight at him, try to make sure that he's going to really beat you if he can. And does right there, a really good fastball. I really like the way that movement of that fastball is going, right? You talk about a guy that are mixing, mid to upper 80s. The issue a lot of times can be is that fastball flat. That fastball really is a really good amount of movement. And there you go, broken bat. That's the kind of thing you need to see.
Right in on the hands and popped out in foul territory to Hunter Babe. And Justin Drury works a 1-2-3 second inning. Filthballers carry a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the second. We'll be right back. You're watching Corn Belt League Baseball on the CBL Network. Filthballers lead the Black Sox 1-0. Bottom of their order due up. 8, 9, 10 hitters, Mahachek, Christensen, and Deloach. As they face Rylan Wallingford working into his second inning in his first start of the season, 9th total appearance. And a swing and a miss. Strike one on a slider away. Trace Mahachek, the designated hitter, hitting .320 with a team-leading .622 on base percentage, and that is because he is a very well-disciplined hitter with a team-leading 15 walks. But swings and misses yet again. It's 0-2. Wallingford gave up 3 hits, a walk, and that earned run on the RBI double from Babe in the first inning. And the 0-2 is in there. Mahachek only watching, strike 3 called, and there is strikeout number 1 for Wallingford to begin the second.
I love that slider, makes me able to end off that at-bat right there. Beautiful piece to keep on the inner half, kind of front door slider. And got Mahachek looking. Definitely, I think it was sitting more fastball in the outer half because that's what we've seen really Wallingford work, especially on the 0-2, and really good work right there for Wallingford to get the first out.
Now it's Nolan Christensen, the center fielder. And he swings and misses. Another pitch away, strike 1. Christensen, another one of the heroes from that walk-off win on Sunday. In the top of the 8th inning, the Crop Dusters had the initial placement runner on third with 1 out in a tie game, and on a fly out to center, Christensen threw the runner out, and now he goes to center with a base hit. And he is aboard with 1 away for the bottom of the order, Chase Deloach.
That's a really good kind of pick-me-up at bat for Christensen. We talked to him at the start of the season. He was arguably a top 3 hitter in the entirety of this league, winning the hitter of the week for the first week of this season. But since then has really struggled. That's kind of why he's dropped down so much in the bottom of the order. Really saw him as the main 1-2 guy. But now with Winterstein and Geyser being so hot as well as Horn, Christensen's kind of dropped down a little bit.
And for Christensen, that is his first hit in 16 at-bats in the month of July. So definitely a pick-me-up for him. Strike 1 taken by Chase Deloach on the outside corner. And he resets, looks down to his third base coach for some signs. 0-1 the count. And a throw over. Close play. Bit of an awkward dive from Christensen as he couldn't really get his momentum going back to the bag smoothly, but he is in time to stay at first.
Yeah, that was the kind of problem there with Christensen. I think kind of a little bit of dead feet right there. He was kind of more so sunk into his heels a little bit too much and couldn't quite get his footing going back to first.
0-1 on Deloach, and that is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Deloach followed by Winterstein and Geyser. This is the bottom of the Filthballer order. Christensen, great base runner at first. He's 12 for 14 stealing bags this year. 1-1 pitch. And somehow that didn't get a piece of him. I'm not sure how that didn't nick the arm, but Deloach will stay in the box at a 2-1 count as that off-speed pitch has missed inside consecutively.
I think he's not quite gotten out in front on that slider, just kind of allowing it to push off of his hands rather than getting that bite.
There's a fastball. It's right back to the mound. Throw to second is in time, and that pulled Young off the bag as Peyton Blinn had to make a tough throw fading toward third. So it'll be a fielder's choice. And Deloach reaches to extend the inning back to Winterstein.
Top of the order, the left fielder from Augustana.
And that's a pitch you don't really want to have if you're Deloach right there, right? It's really kind of too far off the outer half, but just I think maybe got him to chase a little bit and got it off the nub of the bat. It's not exactly the AB you want, especially out of your 10 hole. Has been so fast this season. How you flip the lineup card over was really a strong start up against Wallingford to start off the first with Winterstein as well as Geyser.
Big wave and a foul tip. Strike one to Winterstein. Aaron Madden has moved out of the batting cage, is now up in the bullpen for the Black Sox. Wallingford this year has not gone farther than 2 innings. He's done that twice. The 0-1 to Winterstein is hacked to second on a couple bounces. And Will Johnson makes the play on the short flip to Young. So a scoreless bottom of the second from Wallingford, and we'll go to the third. 1-0 Filthballers on the Corn Belt League Network. Top of the third inning. Welcome back to Tuesday Night Baseball. You see Aaron Madden still out in the bullpen for the Black Sox. His team at the dish now on the top of the third inning, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not Madden gets the baseball going to the bottom of the third. Wallingford has thrown 32 pitches. His max this year 43, but the 2, 3, and 4 hitters are due up for the Filthballers. And it's the 9, 10, and 1 hitters for the Black Sox, starting with Will Johnson, who shows bunt and takes strike 1.
Yeah, I think if you coach Sunigal right now, you're really seeing Wallingford, again, different situation that he's normally used to throughout the rest of this season. Madden's been a guy that has really been able to go long distances whenever they've needed him. He's actually even been out of the bullpen here a couple times, 2 different bullpen appearances this season. For him, it'll see maybe a shorter leash for Wallingford in the bottom of the third.
And a great start to the top of the third inning on a hard hit single to left center. Will Johnson, the 9 hitter, is on. And now Christian Harris, the extra hitter.
Yeah, this is the piece that you need to get something here going here. If you're the Black Sox, again, definitely a different start and kind of an unusual start for Drury, especially after the really efficient first and then kind of for the first 2 outs in the first, and then kind of slowed down a little bit, not be able to find the zone too much up against Crane and Wortman. Really strong second, but now you're seeing him once again for Hagan, Young, and Crane right after this. This is a point to where, again, those missed opportunities can hurt you. A leadoff runner is really going to help you if you can get something going here in the third.
Johnson has 2 stolen bases this year. Harris, the 10 hitter, at the plate. That was the first hit of the game off of Drury. He has hit a batter and walked one, both in the first inning.
He's a fan still.
Harris still waiting for the first pitch. He's 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts against the Filthballers this summer. And he shows bunt and gets it down on a couple bounces. He will be out at first, but Johnson moves into scoring position with 1 away for the top of the order, Darius Hagan.
Again, smart play. You're only down 1. Want to make sure that you can stay manageable on either end. So, and those small things can really help you early. I mean, you can easily think that of a guy like Harrison, who has struggled this season, right? You allow him to see if he can get something through, but you don't really want to leave that chance, especially when you have the top of the order right back after him.
Hagan 0 for 1, popped out to first, leading off the game. As he takes the first pitch, that slider on the outside for strike 1.
And again, Drury now, again, I think you really got to find a way either to get some kind of weak contact to make sure that you keep the runner and Johnson out there at second. Or maybe try to get one yourself if you came up against Larkin.
Couple looks back to second. Now Drury comes home and it's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hagan, who is trying to extend his hit streak to 7 games. 13 hits as well in his last 10. One and 1 the count. Wide open right side of the infield with second baseman Carrig holding the runner, and he grounds it back up the middle, and there is Carrig shifting to his right and throwing to first for the second out.
And talking about it, I think that was the thought process there from Hagan. Maybe you try to allow that ball to travel a little further to put it into right center. Not just a really big 3-4 hole there. There's a pretty bigger gap in right center. Brendan Anderson is shading just a little bit towards the right field line. I think that's what Hagan was trying to do, just a tad bit early and send it up the middle.
And now it is Caden Young looking to tie this game with Johnson at third and 2 outs. Strike 1, and Young has to be high on the list of guys you want at the plate in this situation for the Black Sox. He is the team leader with 5 2-out RBI. 0-1 the count. Drury looking to make it through 3 scoreless innings as he misses away with that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I don't mind the sequencing so far, especially here in the third for Drury. Again, you're trying to see the top of the lineup here again, so you maybe flip it a little bit, right? You want to go maybe off speed early, and you threw, at least from what I've seen, just the first curveball of the day, and that looped in pretty well. Able to get ahead of Young here. Now you want to see maybe try to find the slider again, working into Young.
Looked like the fastball, and it's skied to left field. Winterstein barely needs to move. A couple steps in, and he makes the catch. Drury leaves a man stranded at third. And the 1-0 lead for the Filthballers carries into the bottom of the third. You're watching Tuesday Night Baseball on the Corn Belt League Network. Back to Tuesday Night Baseball. Filthballers 1, Black Sox 0, and Rylan Wallingford, after throwing 2 innings of 1-run baseball, staying in the game to face 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Filthballers. Starts with Landon Geezer, who singled in the first. He takes strike 1 on that slider.
And I think this is a point here. You've seen Wallingford here. This has got to be a point where Aaron Madden, again, back to the dugout. Maybe Sun goes a little more comfortable with Wallingford here, but I think this inning will kind of set the tone for how long they want to have Wallingford go, right? You're down 1, but it's still manageable to the offense that has still had chances here today, just not been able to capitalize. And for Wallingford, I think if he's able to get these first couple outs and find himself ahead in counts, which he has so far to the first batter in Geezer, maybe Sunderland can be a little bit more comfortable to see him go a little bit longer distance.
1-2 the count. Wallingford has struck out 1. And he fires outside. Wortman trying to frame it, but it's 2-2. Filthballers struck first with 1-run bottom of the first inning. Winterstein and Geezer opened up the inning with back-to-back singles, and then Wallingford got 2 outs, but Hunter Babe came through with a double down the right field line to score a run. That'll be popped out of play. Still 2-2.
Again, I think if you're looking at this at-bat here for Geezer, these are the kind of at-bats that you talk about, a really disciplined guy at the college level, right? A lot of high school guys will easily chase at that fastball that we saw on the 0-2, then maybe not think too much about that other fastball that was another borderline call. He's able to differentiate a really borderline pitch a lot of times to see what he can chop away at, and he does right there.
Deflected straight back, another foul ball. Still 2-2.
And again, that's those kind of things, right? You see that earlier fastball that you didn't like, you chop it away, you give yourself another chance, right? That kind of discipline is what you're going to see at the college level. A really good college hitters are able to do that. Some guys aren't able to do that, and Geezer's shown that right now.
But a wave and a miss. Wallingford goes upstairs. Geezer can't get to it, and that is his second strikeout. Brings up Jackson Horn with 1 out.
Again, I think definitely not exactly the spot that Wallingford wanted, but he'll definitely take it. It really more looked like, we mentioned that really a 4-pitch group. We talked about this 2-seam grip, the slider, the change, and the fork kind of split. I think that was a fork, more or less, because it really was supposed to drop down. It was either the fork or it was the changeup. I don't think it was a slider. It was definitely not a fastball because it was not going in as much as it did. But I think it literally looked more like the split that just did not quite split as much.
That is hit hard down the left field line. And a running catch is made by Hagan going to the corner. Darius Hagan has excelled defensively this week. He made a line-out catch, diving catch on Sunday, turned it into a double play at second base, and there's a fine play going toward the corner to save extra bases on Jackson Horn, and now 2 away, bases empty for Anderson.
Again, I think the bigger thing there, not just the ability to get on your horse to be able to make that play, but the jump was impeccable by Darius Hagan. Right off the bat, he knew where that ball was going, and that's those kind of things, right? A split second can change so much. The split second there can either be a catch or a double, maybe even triple down the right field line if Hagan's going to go and dive for it. So, again, when you're able to see the ball really well off the bat, it helps you so much as an outfielder.
0-1 on Anderson, and he hits one hard, and Hagan's not catching that. He'll field it on a bounce. Brendan Anderson with a base hit, and he is aboard with 2 away. And that means that Brendan Anderson now has either a hit or an RBI in 19 of his 21 games played. Sunday was just the second time this year he was held without a base hit or a run batted in, but he picks it up once again here against the Black Sox.
And that's just, I mean, it's an insane stat to think about that, right?
He has many insane stats.
I mean, the good thing here, too, today is that we talk about really the 2 or 3, you want to talk about the best hitters that we've seen here in the Corn Belt League, just physically, how well they've been able to do this season. I mean, we talk about the OPS numbers. Spencer Crane and Brendan Anderson have been going back and forth for that #1 spot. We've seen Landon Geezer kind of be in the top 5 as well this season for the Corn Belt League. Jackson Horn's even been in there here a couple times. He really picked it up in the middle half of the season. Just a really big piece for him. But again, you see Anderson just have such an incredible year here. And again, he's been the longest tenured guy of any guy here in the Corn Belt League. He's worked with Coach Hobbs the last 4 or 5 years here in this league, and just incredible to see what he's been able to show really against any pitcher that he goes up against.
1-2 on Babe, and yeah, you're exactly right. Anderson, the way he leads the offense, the way he carries himself and speaks about the team when we talk to him in post games, he certainly screams leader of this team, and it's exactly what he's done on the year. As that is way outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think the biggest thing for him too is that, like, kind of what I've heard from other guys as well, is he doesn't keep himself too seriously, right? He knows when to kind of turn it on and turn it off, to when when it's a serious matter, when it's that kind of game, versus when it's okay to be kind of back and forth with the guys and really the brothers that he's been able to work with.
2-2 on Hunter Babe, who has the RBI, and there's another rocket foul. Still 2-2. Another number on Anderson. Jaden, I think you could agree with me that 12 RBI in 6 games is a pretty good stretch, right?
I mean, 33 RBIs in his entire season.
He's had 2 of those stretches with 12 RBI in 6 games. Completely different weeks. It's amazing to watch him. he was running on that pitch. A little hit and run situation with Babe. 2-2 is hit on the ground, and Babe is 2 for 2. Anderson stops at second. 2 on, 2 out in the middle of the Filthballers order, doing what they're advertised to do. Get on base, hit the ball hard, and now 2 on, 2 out for Derek Sr.
That's also another interesting thing to think about for this offense, right? We talked about the difference for them to have the ability to really barrel up a lot of balls. Just under 25% of the balls that they've hit have been line drives this season. So again, that can be differentiated for who's really scoring the game. But again, this is a team that finds barrels early and often in counts. So, I mean, that really just pushes a lot of pitchers to not be too comfortable, and it can flip it the other way, right? They have the ability to hit the barrel, and they do also have the ability to be disciplined at the plate, to where, again, if you're a pitcher who's been barreled up, sometimes you're going to have to maybe find a way to be a little janky or try to find yourself nibbling on the outer half. And when you're doing that, that doesn't help you either, because a lot of times the discipline that we've seen from so many of these Filthballers hitters, they're able to take those pitches that they know are not theirs.
2-0 to the catcher, Derek Sr. for Hunter Babe. This is his 5th multi-hit game of the season. His on-base streak extended to 12, and he's now 4 for 7 against the Black Sox this season. 2-0 pitch coming to Sr., and it is on the outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. No sign of Aaron Madden after he was getting warm in the bottom of the 2nd inning. This is the deepest Wallingford has gone into any game this year, both innings-wise and pitch count-wise, as he's up over 50. Again, he steps off. Looking for a new sign from his catcher, Wortman, trying to focus in here and preserve the 1-run deficit. Every run so vital when you're taking on an offense as potent as the Filthballers. This is grounded to short, fielded by Peyton Blinn. And he throws high and out of the glove of Young, and this will score a run. Anderson comes in. Babe goes to third, and on the error, the Filthballers make it 2-0, and Blinn had plenty of time on that throw, but looked like he short-armed it, got underneath it a little bit, and Young tried to leap and make the play, get back down on the bat, but couldn't.
I was about to say that at-bat right there was easily going to be arguably one of the biggest that we could very well see here today. Again, it's a 1-run deficit for the Black Sox. It's a different kind of look, but if you can get out of this, you can maybe see Madden, see how comfortable Wallingford is in these next couple innings, and it's still a game that's very close. And it keeps the momentum at least towards the Black Sox side, but that is a play right there that when you're going up against a team like the Filthballers, you just can't have, right? An easy ground ball. Really, you did everything right if you're Wallingford, right? You worked really well back and forth count to Senior and was able to get a weak ground ball, but I think there for Blinn, it was kind of an odd hop for him. It really got into, not really into his palm, but it got kind of up to his wrist, and I think that transfer out of his hand was maybe a little bit not towards where you want. A lot of times you want to be able to get it out of your glove as a four-seam kind of grip when you're throwing it. And I think it was kind of maybe a little bit too much in his palm when he got it out of his glove and kind of just whipped it a little bit too far away from Caden Young at first. Again, those are the plays you just cannot have you're the Black Sox right now, especially when you're still trying to chase for a title.
0-1 the count on Jason Carrick. I'll have to check the replay between innings to see whether or not Blinn would have had time to flip to second for an out. Obviously, the safer play in terms of how close the base runner was to the bag was at first, as there's a steal of second base. Caden Mathewson, the courtesy runner, gets the bag as Wortman was more concerned with Babe over at third. 0-2 the count on Carrick, the second baseman.
Again, that's going to take away any kind of play over there at second. So again, even though sometimes as a catcher you don't really want to worry too much because you may be giving up a run, but still definitely a piece right there for the Filthballers. A smart move to get away from the force out at second.
Way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wallingford trying to hunker down, get this final out. Keep his team within striking distance at a 2-run game. However, Carrick could dump one into the outfield. Mathewson's speed at second. And almost all certainty makes it 4-0. 1-2 pitch. Inside. That slider nearly plunks Carrig as he bends out of the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Babe at third. Mathewson at second. Now the 2-2. Out over the plate, knuckle down the left field line, and foul. You can see Mathewson coming from second, nearly caught up to Babe going from third. He is urgent to score from second on a potential single here. So keep an eye on that.
And again, another thing to think about here, just looking at the outfield right now, Spencer Crane, again, another guy that we've seen. A lot of the right fielders have really been playing more towards the line. Really stand up straight there in center for Stephen Larkin. So if you see maybe Carrig able to shoot one right over the head of Will Johnson, that would be a huge possible piece of extra bases to make this game from striking distance for the Black Sox to maybe opening it wide open for the Filthballers.
Another 2-2. That is outside. And the count runs full on Jason Carrig. The DH, Trace Mahacek, one of Wallingford's 2 strikeout victims, is on deck.
I don't think you can give too much to Carrick here. Again, we mentioned the base is still open over there at first. So, again, you just cannot give any kind of middle to Carrick and let you have damage. I think you still have to make sure you keep it in the zone, but can't give too much.
Payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. So after Carrick was behind 0-2, he battles back to take his walk, and now for the second time today, the Filthballers have loaded the bases. They did it in the first. They're doing it again in the third for Trace Mahacek, the DH.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to stay with Wallingford. They're going to stay with Wallingford for at least the rest of this inning. And we talked about Madden was in the bullpen. Didn't seem like he at least got enough to fully be ready to go. So your Coach Sundergal right now, this is a really big piece to rely on a guy that's mainly been out of a bullpen to try to get out of this.
Strike 1 to Mahacek for Carrig. That's his 7th walk of the year. Mahacek, a patient hitter, but he was too patient leading off the second inning as he struck out looking at the hands of Rylan Wallingford.
And Mahacek still looking for his first hit this July. Still has not gotten a hit since June 30th against the Crop Dusters. So I don't mind that look. You don't want to give too much to Carrig, who's already shown that he can put something, especially over to the pull side this season. Been a very big pull hitter has been Carrig, but going up against a guy Mahacek who has struggled as of recent, I'd much rather look at him, especially how well he's been able to find the zone this season.
Again, Wallingford is ahead 0-2. We'll see if he can find his put-away stuff this time. Bases loaded, 2 out. Already 1 run in here in this 3rd inning. 0-2 pitch off the outside part of the plate. 1-2. Black Sox dugout wants that one badly, but Wallingford will have to find something else to get this 3rd out.
And again, that's a really good take right there, Mahacek. Again, a lot of times you could be thinking, you mentioned that put-away pitch, right? A lot of times it's going to be the slider, but he works the fastball, maybe trying to change him up a little bit in the head, but really good take to leave that off in the outer half and give yourself another chance.
Fastball again. It's popped up. That'll get out of play. Still 1-2. Babe at third. He singled. Senior, check that, Mathewson at second. Senior reached on the error that brought in the run, and Jason Carrig at first. Anderson singled with 2 outs. Again, all of this started with 2 outs, nobody on for the Filthballers. Anderson singled and then eventually came around to score as went single, error, walk. And here we are, 1-2 on Mahacek, who lifts this one, looks to be staying in play right near the 3rd base line. It is caught by Dustin Sipe. And yet again, Wallingford works out of a bases-loaded situation. However, the Filthballers add on another run. They take a 2-0 lead to the bottom of the 3rd on Tuesday Night Baseball.
The Black Sox in the top of the 4th inning. Crane, Workman.
the fourth inning. 2-0 Filthballers. They lead the Black Sox. So we remind you of the scenario. Filthballers have 4 games remaining, including this one, and all they need to do is win 1, and they are Corn Belt League regular season champions for 2022. Black Sox are the only other team that has a shot at the title, but they need to win out in their final 3 games and have the Filthballers lose their final 4. Spencer Crane swings and misses strike 1. Justin Drury working on 3 scoreless innings.
Yeah, again, I think this is a point now. Again, you're down by 2. You haven't been able to find too much consistency on offense, but now you're the second time through the order, in the heart of the order now. 3 of the top 4 guys in this lineup in OPS this season, all coming up here for the Black Sox, and actually 3 of the top 10 guys in the league this season in OPS. So this is a point now, again, where you've already seen Drury. You've got to get something going here and at least get 1 here in the 4th.
Crane, Wortman, Zwiener, all OPS is north of 850. 2 of them above 1,000 here in the 4th, but Crane leading off, falls behind 0-2. And he rolls this one foul back toward the Sox dugout. Still 0-2. Looks like Steven Larkin having some fun with some young fans, taking some swings out behind the dugout as this is lined to center field and a base hit. Spencer Crane leads off the inning with a hard hit single. He hits it right back where it came from, something you talked about earlier, Jaden, and he's on to lead off.
And again, I don't think he quite fully got the barrel there. Maybe, I don't want to say sawed off a little bit, but definitely got a little bit inside on him there, a little bit more inside on the hands, but still able to get a good piece of contact and send it back up the middle. And those are the kind of ABs you need here, right? We talk about Crane and Young, who have been such power hitters this season for the Black Sox, and a lot of people can think, okay, we need 1 big swing to get an extra base hit to really piece our momentum together. No, it's kind of got to be a different piece up against a really good guy in Drury. Just work station to station.
Great bunt from Wortman. Even as a catcher, he nearly beat that out. Fine play to get the out there from Drury. 1 away. Crane into scoring position for Brandon Zwiener.
And I don't mind that. And again, the team ABs are the biggest thing, right? A lot of guys, especially out of the 4-hole, there's not a lot of 4-holes that are going to be like, okay, I'm going to bunt this down the third base line. I'm going to accept that as power guys. But again, the team is going to be the aspect here. The team emphasis is going to be needed here for the Black Sox, who desperately need a win to keep themselves in the conversation for the regular season title. And that's the kind of AB you need, your coach Sonnegal here in the Black Sox.
Big cut and a miss from Zwiener, the DH. He grounded out to short with 1st and 2nd and 2 down back in the 1st inning. Black Sox have left 3 on base through the first 3. Filthballers have left 7 as this is in the air. Shallow right field. Catch made out there by Anderson. And no tag at second base from Spencer Crane. 2 away for Dustin Sipe.
And just barely got outside on that one. I think he just got underneath it and a little bit pushed the other way. It was a job right there for Zwiener. Again, trying to maybe push it into right center field, trying to get over Jason Carrick there at second. But again, I think kind of reached out a little bit too far, chased a little bit too much on the outer half, and an easy second out here for Brendan Anderson. And again, Drury's just done a really good job. Any single time that there's been really any kind of pressure on him, he's figured a way to work his way out of it.
Low ball 1 to Sipe. He flew out to center field in the 2nd inning. What little wind there is today is blowing from left field to right field toward the line. That affects Anderson more than anybody else, as it's more of a crosswind out there. 1-0 the count on Sipe. And he takes one low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Lynn, the shortstop, is on deck. These next 3 hitters were the 3 hitters that made for Drury's 1-2-3 2nd inning a couple frames ago. Sipe, Blinn, and Larkin. 1-0 2-0 pitch on the outside, 2-1. Drury goes back to the slider and pinpoints it well.
Again, you mentioned right on the button, just being able to pinpoint, right, that 2-0 pitch. A lot of guys, especially up in counts, when we've seen Drury, I guess, not the normal consistency that we've seen being able to find that first pitch strike. So really good job by Drury to be able to answer back and try to climb the ladder, working back up against Sipe to try to get this next out.
Well, there will not be a next out to Sipe. Just as you say that, Drury plunks him with a fastball running in. And now 2 on, 2 out for Peyton Blinn, the shortstop. And a brief conversation with the catcher senior as he brings him the ball. And this is a big moment here for the Black Sox, trying to at least draw one back. Got plenty of time left in this game, just the 4th inning. Trailing by 2, but have to be able to keep pace with the Filthballers if you want to knock off the top team in the league.
Yeah, it's a really big spot here for Peyton Blinn. We mentioned defensively that error this past inning to bring in another run to extend the Filthballers' lead. If he can make up for it here with a big hit into the outfield, that would be a piece that you can definitely have some kind of redemption, trying to help these Black Sox. We're back in this one.
Rolls it over foul, strike 1. Crane at second, Sipe at first. Blinn still looking for his first hit of the year against the Filthballers in 7 ABs. Drury brings the 0-1, and it's outside. Count even at a ball and a strike. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Black Sox. 2 runs on 6 hits, and no errors for the Filthballers. And a 2-0 lead in the top of the 4th. 1-1 pitch to Blinn. He hits it back up the middle and into center field, a base hit past the diving Jason Carrig. Crane is in to score, and the Black Sox respond with a run. Crane fired up, looking toward first base. RBI single for Peyton Blinn.
Yeah, talk about a way to be able to make up for the defensive mistake this past inning. Just shoots it right back up the middle. And that could have been an incredible play for Jason Carrig. Just barely got under his glove in the diving attempt up the middle. But now again here, if you're the Black Sox, right, you're possibly thinking here, you still got 2 runners on here with 2 outs. See what more you can get here. And a lot of teams, especially in a close game like this, to such a good team, could be content with 1 run. But if you're the Black Sox now, figure a way to maybe keep this pressure on Drury now. We do see somebody in the bullpen.
Larkin whacks this one to right field. Not an easy play for Anderson, but he tracks it down just shy of the warning track. Boy, he nearly had his back to second base when he finally made the catch. That ball just kept carrying with the wind helping it, but Anderson gets to it for a huge 3rd out. However, the Black Sox draw 1 back. It is 2-1 Filthballers as we go to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching Tuesday Night Baseball on the Corn Belt League Network. Bottom of the fourth inning, Filthballers 2, Black Sox 1 in game 1 of our Tuesday night baseball showcase on the Corn Belt League Network. Hot summer day at JJ Isaacson Field, but a good crowd on hand and splendid baseball being played as expected between the top two teams in the league. First pitch in for a strike, Rylan Wallingford working into his fourth inning. He's allowed 2 runs, one of them earned as he faces Christensen, Deloach, and Winterstein, the 9, 10, and 1 hitters.
Yeah, you talked about really just the dog days of summer here. 90, 90, 90, and 100 really for the rest of this week here in Omaha, Nebraska. Had a beautiful day on Sunday, like low 80s,
yeah,
even some upper 70s. That 11 a.m. game was beautiful.
You see the heat wave that's coming in next week?
Oh yeah. Well, I think
we're gonna get to 105 at some point.
Yeah, 101 on Saturday.
That's the right field foul.
That's why you play baseball in Omaha, Nebraska, though. I think that's been a big thing. A lot of out-of-state guys have mentioned that the humidity is a big difference here. Especially for, I know, talk about Evan Heave, a couple of different guys that I've worked with on the Royal Blue Dogs that all play or played the majority of their lives in Arizona. It's 120 there, but for them that's not manageable, still bad, but not, the humidity is still definitely a difference there as well.
What a piece of hitting from Christensen. He takes it into right field for his second hit, so shades of his hitter of the week performances back in the early part of the season, as he has 2 singles and he's on to lead off the fourth.
I think that's the kind of approach that we have to be able to see from Christensen. Again, I can't really pinpoint exactly what was the struggles in the middle half of the season for him, but just definitely not the normal thing that we've seen from Christensen these past 2 seasons. Right, last year he was one of the most dominant guys for the second place team in the Rail Riders, and this season again really started off with the same kind of pace. He's really a really talented guy. He has the speed. He's a really good defender, and he can hit pretty well with contact. Just sometimes is maybe kind of really being in what a lot of different guys are at sometimes, just being in a little bit of a slump, but maybe figuring a way to get out of it really at the perfect time right before we get to playoff season.
So now the bottom of the order, Chase Deloach showing bunt, pulls it back at the last moment as the slider bends outside for a 2-0 count. Wallingford wanting an appeal down to the second base umpire, but he agrees. Pulled the bunt back in time.
You talk about Christensen again, but another guy that has kind of struggled a little bit, like we mentioned. That was his first and second hit for the first time here in this month. Hadn't hit since June 30th.
And he's trying to steal second base, and he's out. Strong throw from Rusty Wortman. And Christensen quickly erased on the base pass. He had been a base stealing force coming in, going 12 for 14, but now only an 80% success rate as is one away with a 3-0 count to Deloach. And a high strike. Deloach flings the bat away. 3-1 the count.
Definitely not making friends with that one.
Yeah. He gives a big smile at the home plate umpire as he walks back in.
I think that was more for himself than the umpire, if anything, helping yourself out a little bit.
And fouls one straight back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sure, the umpire poked a little bit of fun at him as he was walking back in the box. So 3-2 the count. Wallingford has 2 strikeouts. 1 looking, 1 swinging. And make it 3. Comes back from 3-0 to retire Deloach, and now the top of the order, Trevor Winterstein with 2 away.
Beautiful slider right there. Again, you're trying to see a guy that has really worked well, putting it back up the middle, and Deloach does have a lot of speed as well, so really any kind of infield play, a little chopper could be interesting for a guy from Deloach, but getting one yourself right there from Rylan Wallingford, and we thought after that first inning it might be a little bit of a question mark for how long Wallingford was going to go. They might really relieve him with Madden or somebody else in his bullpen here today for the Black Sox, but these past 2 innings, Wallingford's been a really good job of being able to manage and keep the Black Sox in this ballgame.
It's a big cut and a miss on a slider, strike 1. Trevor Winterstein, the top of the order. Single, run scored, and a ground out today. He's 1 for 2. And he takes that one outside. 1 ball and 1 strike Nolan Christensen led off the inning with a single, but was thrown out attempting to steal second base with Deloach at the plate. 1-1 pitch is lined into center field. But a couple steps over from Larkin, and he makes the catch. So it ends up being a 1-2-3 inning. And Wallingford goes 4 innings, allowing just 1 earned run, 2 runs total, and those 2 runs total have the Filthballers in front by a 1 as we head to the 5th on the Corn Belt League Network. Top of the 5th inning. Filthballers 2, Black Sox 1. In the hunt for the regular season title, all the Filthballers need to do is win 1 of their last 4 games, and they secure it. Black Sox need to win out and have the Filthballers lose out for them to pull off a miraculous home stretch regular season title win. They trail by 1, facing Justin Drury in a first pitch swing off the bat of Will Johnson, but it's caught out there by Nolan Christensen in left center field. So Drury got it in on the hands just enough for out number 1.
I mean, that's been the big thing for Drury. He's been able to get these Black Sox hitters to miss 7 different either weak contact fly balls or pop-ups so far here today. So, again, the Black Sox have been able to find contact, to just whether or not they can truly find a barrel and some sort of gap up against Drury here, and really a superb defensive group here in the Filthballers. You're talking about the pitching, you're talking about the offense for the Filthballers, but the defense has been big too. You talk about Christensen's really a plus defender. Even Brandon Anderson, who's mainly been a power guy. A lot of times you see a right field type of power guy, right field first base look. And you're normally thinking of him, okay, not quite, I don't want to say a liability at times, but definitely not the defensive prowess that we've seen from Anderson this season. It was on showcase just last inning on that odd fly ball that he was able to go and catch over the shoulder.
Yeah, saved 2 runs. First and second with 2 outs. Black Sox were down by 1, and Stephen Larkin hit a fly ball toward the right field corner, and the wind pushed it, and Anderson had to keep going back, and finally did make the catch just short of the warning track. It's 3-0 on Christian Harris, the 10-hitter. That one nearly hit him. Harris sacrificed with a bunt in the 3rd inning. Filthballers with 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, and then Black Sox countered with 1 in the top of the 4th. They have 3 hits, Filthballers with 7.
I think a big question here going down the stretch is how much more of a leash are both these coaches going to keep on their starters?
And there is a hit by pitch. Drury losing some command on that fastball. He misses way inside on back-to-back pitches. And Harris gets on with 1 out for Darius Hagan, the leadoff man.
Again, we did see at least a Reidy at least playing catch out there in the bullpen. He's gone back to the dugout now, but again, the thought process here again, how long do they go with Drury, who Again, don't want to say he's had a bad day. He definitely hasn't, only giving up 1 run so far, but just hasn't quite seemingly been his normal self. He's missed a little bit too far in sometimes to righties.
And that'll be a stolen base as the throw is in the dirt. Christian Harris rips off the bag and moves into scoring position. Meanwhile, ball 1 to Darius Hagan. And the Black Sox ran the bases well today, taking extra bags on hits when the opportunities are there. Now a stolen base puts the potential tie-in run at second. One-oh pitch to Hagan. Will not come yet. Harris moves back to second as Drury checks on him. Drury just over 50 pitches now. He's thrown as many as 100 this year. As that is inside.
And again, the fastball command just hasn't quite been normal for him. Just have a just over a 60% strike percentage here today, but again, it's just he hasn't really seemed too comfortable, especially against some of these really quicker hitters when he's got guys on. That's kind of been an issue sometimes. He's kind of worked a little bit too much arm side, has opened up a little bit too much. And it's really how we can make adjustments here. Again, if you're the Filthballers, right, you can still be comfortable. You still have the rest of the way to make sure that you can clinch this title. But if you can do it here up against these Black Sox, it's a time to be able to do it. Just want to get win by win throughout the rest of this regular season.
Time called. Just 1 walk issued by Drury, but he has plunked 3 Black Sox hitters. Crane in the first, Sipe in the fourth. Now Harris at fifth. He's on second. 2-1 pitch. Slapped foul. Got that one on the outside part of the plate. Now 2-2. Filthballers playing their first of 2 games today. They'll be in action for the second leg of their doubleheader at 8 o'clock. Right back here against the Bombers. So 2 opportunities to secure the title. That is line left center field. It's going to get down in front of Christensen. Runner held at third. Harris has to stumble back. Did they get him? No, they did not. Close play as he took a very wide turn and lost his footing going back to the bag, but Black Sox fortunately keep him on the base paths. First and third now with 1 out on the well-struck single by Hagan.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd setup right there. It's definitely kind of in between. You have a really good arm out there in center in Christensen, but Harris, I think, didn't quite have as good of a jump off the bat coming around second base, so not quite enough for Sunigal to send it, but runners in the corners here with 1 out. Again, thing is to think about here, you still have the double play in order, but with a really speedy Hagan off of first, we'll see maybe either a hit and run possible situation here, or if they just want to go a straight steal to get the double play and any kind of force play actually at second out of the way. There is a righty in the bullpen here. I believe that's Matthew Faulkner.
Ty Faulkner,
excuse me, out in the bullpen for the Filthballers.
Faulkner out of Doane University. He is sporting a sub-3 ERA in 2 appearances, and he just pitched on Sunday against the Crop Dusters, going 2 innings, allowing 1 unearned run, and he only needed 17 pitches to get through those 2 frames, so he is fairly well rested. He'll get up quickly. Drury's pitch count is still in a fine spot, but the Black Sox are starting to put some barrels on him. These last couple innings, 2 singles in the fourth from Crane and Blinn, and hard hit shot to left center from Hagan to put men at first and third, 1 away, and Caden Young has an opportunity to tie the ball game.
Yeah, we talk so much about how the numbers change when you get through the 3rd time through the order, right? You've seen this guy twice already. You've seen his stuff, which has kind of been limited so far here today with the normal 4-pitch guy.
Hagan bluffs a steal of second and forces Senior to throw down, so that's never a bad play to get the catcher to throw, because if he yanks one high, it's a tie game with Harris potentially coming down from third.
I think more than anything, that was more of a setup play to see what the Filthballers are doing, right? What's the situation, right? Seeing what they can do. A lot of times that meeting, right, from Hobbs going out there, what situation here in a first and third, right? Are we going to throw down or are we going to try to cut it off? Now you already just showed your cards at the table, right, and see what you're going to do.
He's running again. They could get 2 out at second. Double play. It was an incredibly difficult turn with Hagan sliding into second at the exact time the ball got there, but Carrig on the feed from Horn turned and got it to Babe for the second out, and the fifth is over. The Black Sox squander a golden opportunity to tie the game, and we'll go to the bottom of the fifth. Still 2-1 Filthballers. Bottom of the fifth inning, Filthballers lead the Black Sox 2-1, and they turn to 6-4-3 inning-ending double play with runners on the corners. Tying run 90 feet away in the top of the fifth inning. We'll see if that provides any further boost at the plate as strike one taken by Landon Geezer. 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up against Rylan Wallingford working his fifth inning.
I think we both talked about it coming into this inning. How much of a leash are they going to give to Wallingford here, as they do have Aaron Madden back on the mound on the bullpen for probably the third time that he's had to go back out there and throw. So they've your Coach Sunigal here again in the middle of the order here for the Filthballers. It's maybe really a one base runner and done type of situation if you give it to Wallingford.
Fouled straight back off the wooden base of the screen. 1-2. Geezer a single and a strikeout today. Will be followed by Horn and Anderson. It's been the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Anderson, Babe, and Senior, that have stung the Black Sox today. As that slider bends way outside. 2-2 the count on Geezer.
Yeah, and again, outside of really those three, it's been Nolan Christensen, the only other guy that's really had consistent hitting up against Wallingford. But I think the biggest thing from him, the thing you have to give him credit for, is how well he's been able to minimize. I mean, especially in that first and even more in that third inning, he's been able to figure a way just out of it. Not too much damage, but the command at least struggling here on back-to-back pitches.
Yeah, that one to the backstop, 3-2. Wallingford worked out of a bases-loaded situation in both the first inning and the third inning after a run had already come in. And the third, despite getting out of that scenario, was really the backbreaker, as there were already 2 outs, runners at first and second, and a throwing error was made to bring in the second run. As this is popped out, and Will Johnson goes out from his position at second and makes the running catch in shallow right. 1 away for Jackson Horn.
And a good way just to be able to get out. That's been the biggest thing here today for him. Just Wallingford getting that weak contact has been the emphasis, and I like the way he's been working so far. And working the longest outing that we've seen from him all summer long. He's working just over a 55% strike percentage so far. So again, hasn't worked around too much of these Filthballers hitters. Done a really good job of attacking, especially early in counts. That's what's helped him so far.
Strike one on Horn, who's 0 for 2 with a pop out and a line out. Wind starting to pick up from left field out to right. Crosswind in dead center. As the 0-1 is on the outside. Well-located fastball. Horn falls behind 0-2 as he takes the first couple.
This is the biggest thing, right? When you are able to establish early and find the zone early in counts, you can use the rest of your arsenal the rest of the way.
And he goes with a high away off-speed pitch to get the swinging strikeout. Horn down on 3 pitches, and a quick 2 outs for Rylan Wallingford. So again, maybe not exactly where he wanted to put the off-speed pitch, but it did fool the hitter for strikeout number 4.
I think definitely on a 1-0 pitch or a 2-0 pitch, that's something that is definitely a big mistake. But definitely on that 0-2 look, you can get maybe guys thinking a little bit because you're seeing that movement out of the hand right, and it's coming up high. So a lot of times you may be thinking, okay, he's going to go fastball up top to try to change my eye level, but nope, it just drops down at the top of the zone and finds the zone there, and back-to-back pitches to where he kind of works kind of the same little slider piece.
1-0 the count on Brendan Anderson. There's a fly-out single and a run scored today, but the story, at least for him, was the defensive play he made to end top of the 4th inning for the Black Sox and save a couple runs and preserve the 2-run lead. It was actually a 1-run lead at the time as the Sox already had scored their first run. He pulls it foul to make it 1-1. Anderson, with what he's done today, now 4-for-11 against the Sox this year, and he takes a slider just off the plate, 2-1. Beg your pardon, 4-for-10. Two-one pitch, just low. Wallingford really leaning on those off-speed pitches after the fastball got away from him a couple times. It's 3-1.
And kind of started sliding off the mound a little bit. Didn't quite fully maybe get his footing on that front foot. It really looked like he opened up a little bit. That's why he kind of didn't quite bite as much as he wanted to and hung a little bit. Trying to work the front door slider, but didn't quite work.
Yeah, it's hit high in the air, deep left field, down the line, and it is gone. Home run, Brendan Anderson. Bat flip, bombs away, and it's 3-1 Filthballers on his first home run of the year.
What a shot. And again, you find yourself behind in a 3-1 pitch. You've gone all slider, and Anderson just waited on that fastball. That's not where you can leave it, over the middle of the plate up against a guy like that who crushes those type of balls. Middle, perfectly set ball, and that one was barreling out of here off the bat.
You saw the swagger coming out of that batter's box. Stood there, watched it, waiting to see if it would stay fair, and he knew it. Upstairs, ball 1 to Hunter Babe. And again, Wallingford getting very unsettled coming off that mound to finish his delivery. And he'll have a conversation with Wortman, the catcher. For Anderson, his 34th RBI this year, his 14th extra base hit, 11 doubles, 2 triples, and now a homer.
Of all things that we have not seen from him has been a homer, which is really surprising to me. He has the legs you've seen with the triples this season. Did have kind of one odd triple that kind of had an odd hop over the left fielder, ended up getting around all the way to third. But despite that, he's shown the legs to be able to have extra bases. I think really any kind of ball club would love to be able to have a guy like that. Has so many pieces to his arsenal. I don't want to say a 5-tool guy is a thing that comes around a lot, but again, he has the speed. He can hit for power, and he can play defense pretty well. So at least a 4-tool guy that you can be pretty confident in each and every night.
1-2 the count on Hunter Babe. Anderson extends his team lead with his 14th 2-out RBI as well. Babe lifts this one foul and will not be caught over near the fence. Good effort from Sipe. Still 1-2, and Babe has worked a nice 1-2 combination with Anderson today. Anderson the single, home run, 2 runs scored, and Babe started the scoring with an RBI double in the first and then singled with Anderson already on base in the third.
You're Wallingford here. You got to get this final out. Just get yourself at least out of this inning. Still stay confident and allowing the Black Sox to keep in this one. Cannot give too much over the middle plate. Again, 3rd time through the order, the numbers jump up, and Wallingford, this is very likely going to be the last batter either way.
1-2. Off speed bends up and out of the zone. Now 2-2 the count. Babe thought about a swing, but will face another one from Wallingford. Aaron Madden no longer throwing in that Sox bullpen as this is rolled foul. Hit hard, still 2-2. 4 strikeouts today for Rylan Wallingford. Looking to get through 5 innings, allowing 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Would be a, I think, strong performance, all things considered. A, you're facing a Filthballers team that can pound any starter, and then B, this is his first start of the year. He hasn't thrown more than 2 innings. He gets a broken bat on a 1-hop to first, and Caden Young takes it to the base as part of the lumber ends up all the way on the baseline between first and second. 3-1 Filthballers as we go to the 6th. Brendan Anderson providing some insurance. Solo home run with 2 outs. Makes it a 2-run advantage for the Filthballers. Top of the 6th inning, Filthballers 3, Black Sox 1. The Ballers are 6 outs away from a regular season title. Black Sox need to win, and in fact win out, combined with a Filthballer 0-4 end of the season to keep their hopes alive, but it is 3-1 Filthballers. Brendan Anderson, the right fielder, belting a home run in the bottom of the 5th inning, a majestic shot down the left field line.
Yeah, you could hear it. I think you talk so much kind of how the difference in the college level between using wood bats a lot of times in summer leagues versus using the metal bats. And that's one thing that I really love about using wood bats here in this league is really when you know it's pieced, you know it's pieced, right? When you're able to find the barrel, it sounds so much better than any other kind of hit, and knew that one off the bat was getting out of here.
2-0 the count on Spencer Crane as Justin Drury tries to make it 6 innings of 1-run baseball, but he's behind 3-0 on Crane, who has reached both times, once on a hit by pitch and then a single, and scoring the game's only run in the 4th. Crane, our Black Sox impact player coming in. He has seen the ball tremendously against the Filthballers this year, and that has carried over into today. And it's a 4-pitch walk. For the 2nd time, Crane is on to lead off an inning, and it'll be Rusty Wortman, the catcher.
I think that very well may be the day for Drury. An odd day for him. Not a bad day. Again, just 1 run allowed so far in this one, but so far the command just hasn't quite been there from Drury. Just a 57% strike percentage comparative to his normal 67.5 strike percentage coming into this one, but did a really good job of keeping this team into it. And a strong outing from him, even if he didn't have his best stuff.
Ty Faulkner takes the baseball, and he will try and preserve the 2-run lead for the Filthballers when we return on the Corn Belt League Network. Call to the bullpen. It is Ty Faulkner taking the bump, and we also have action in both pens. Over on the Filthballer side, Ty Wynn was throwing for a little while. He has ceased for now, and then it is still Aaron Madden for the Black Sox up in the bullpen for the 4th inning in a row, I believe. He started in the 2nd, and he's been throwing intermittently ever since.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have Faulkner here again, really work that setup type of role here in the 6th, and they might go Noah Wing here, who's been the closer all season long here for the Filthballers, a guy that's blown by fastballs, worked just a fastball slider mix, but the fastball's been devastating, upper 80s, low 90s from Wing, and he's just been that guy that each and every night they know he's going to be able to be the guy to be in that closer position, and it looks like, especially here with a close game like this, it may be the same thing.
Off the knuckles, on the ground to 2nd, and they'll get 1. Kehrig flips the horn. Crane is eliminated. 1 away, and Wortman takes first base.
Yeah, Faulkner, a guy who came in halfway into the season's been in that kind of piece, just being able to get weak contact. And again, that's what Drury really had to do. Again, guy who started off today not quite having his best stuff, but we saw so many times for him, he's just still able to be efficient and go through 5 innings of work. It's entirely due to how well he's been able to get weak contact. We talk about just in the 1st. You see it as well in the 2nd and the 3rd, just right off the bat, just being able to get weak contact and allow your defense to make plays. And that's, again, just that mentality here for the Filthballers this season, just finding ways to win.
Another knuckler popped into foul territory and caught. Brandon Zwiener is retired. He flips the bat to Dustin Sipe. 1 on, 2 out. Manny Wells is the courtesy runner at first base.
The third baseman from Kansas Wesleyan, number 12, Dustin Sipe.
You look at Ty Faulkner on the year. He's made just 2 relief appearances and has kept an ERA below 3. He pitched Sunday against the Crop Dusters, going 2 innings, giving up 1 run. It was unearned, and he pitched in some big spots, working that 7th and 8th inning. As there's a back pick throw going down the right field line. Wells will take second base and go no further. So senior really trying to force the issue and keep Wells honest over there at first. Just a very low throw and tough to handle for Babe.
Honestly, I don't think that was too bad of a throw coming there from senior. That's really where you want to place it, right? You want to really place it on that, a little bit above that left foot of Babe, who's playing first base. That way he can spin around and try to get Wells before he can get his right hand back into the bag. But I think both maybe a little bit too low of a throw, which barely got off the feet. But then also Babe kind of got tripped up a little bit by Wells diving back into first and just got under him.
2-0 on Sipe, who's 0 for 1 with a fly out and a hit by pitch. And it is hit on the ground, on into left field, base hit. The windmill is on and now turned off. as coming to a sliding halt at third. Manny Wells, a single for Dustin Sipe with 2 away, and they are on the corners for Peyton Blinn, who has driven in the only Black Sox run with a single in the 4th.
Got another big spot here for Blinn. We mentioned how big of a spot it was for the first time when the Black Sox were able to come through in the 4th for that first run, is right after giving up that error and giving up an insurance run for the Filthballers. Blinn was able to answer back in a big spot here with 2 outs. And easy runner off. Now, again, I think the Filthballers are much less worried about the runner at first, but trying to make sure they can take care of Blinn here at the plate. As Babe originally in that first pitch wasn't even holding on the runner at first. Now he'll go back, but we'll see how much of a thought they want to have. Senior as well as Horn over there at short, how much they want to think about the runner over there at first.
0-1 the count on Blinn. Faulkner's pitch is outside, 1-1. It's interesting. A couple times we've seen the third base coach / head coach, Sonny Senegal, over there at third base, has waved the runner home initially coming from second, and then just as he's getting to the bag, he puts the stop sign up. And almost resulted in an out earlier in the game, as there's a strike thrown from Faulkner. 1-2 on Blinn. First and third, 2 away. Black Sox trailing by a pair. Faulkner comes home, and it's slapped into left center field. That tails away from the shortstop, Horn, and brings in a run. The Black Sox just stay in the fight. Peyton Blinn with his 2nd RBI single of the day.
Yeah, Blinn, beautiful job right there. A little bit of arm side run on that fastball, which is dropping out, and a really good job. Just, kind of throw your hands out there a little bit from Blinn. And got a barrel and just over the head of Jackson Horn there at short. And those are the kind of ABs you need, right? The Black Sox still able to stay into this game is no way but over. And they're even more.
And that's into center field, a base hit for Stephen Larkin. Here comes the run around third. Throw from Christensen is cut off. The Black Sox have tied it with 2 in the 6th. Back-to-back RBI singles with 2 down in the inning. Blinn and Larkin even it at 3.
We mentioned so much on the line here tonight, not just for the Filthballers, but also for the Black Sox. And, man, what a kind of game this has lived up to. We talked about the pressure for both these teams. The Black Sox want to make sure that they take care of business and at least make sure that, at least for a couple hours more, they keep away any kind of chance for the Filthballers to take home the regular season title. And this is the way to do it. You got to fight. And the Black Sox even down and really out to rights a little bit. The Filthballers just putting it on after that home run. You very well could have been like, okay, game's done. It's still close enough of a ball game, and really just about all of this has come with 2 outs.
Strike 1 to Will Johnson, the second baseman. An RBI single from Blinn, an RBI single from Larkin, both with 2 outs, and we're tied at 3. Ty Faulkner unable to get through the 6th inning unscathed after relieving Justin Drury. Johnson is 1 for 2 with a single and a flyout, facing a 1-1 count. And the Filthballers are in complete control of their own destiny. All they have to do is win 1 game in their last 4, and they are regular season champions. So it's 2-1 on Johnson. Black Sox need to win out and have the Filthballers lose their remaining games. So even if the Filthballers fall here against the Black Sox, they'll have another opportunity to win 1 game and take the title against the Bombers at 8 o'clock.
And a big question mark going to be in that one. Who's going to pitch, surely, for the Bombers? We saw them really having to go entirely position players yesterday, and a guy that they haven't even had pitch for them all season long in Max Coughlin. So maybe they go Eggert again. Maybe they go Layden and Eggert halfway. But again, I mean, just after pitching 2 days ago, see if they're even able to be available. You can talk maybe about Levi Story, Brandon Pike a little bit, but the bullpen has been a huge question for them.
3-2 the count. Faulkner was already strutting off the mound thinking he had hit the outside corner, but doesn't get the call. And now the runners will be in motion. Full count on Johnson. Blinn at second, Larkin at first. There they go, and it's strike 3 called. So Faulkner allows 2 runs to tie the game, but he gets out of any further trouble. And we are even at 3 going to the bottom of the 6th. Bombers will be playing at 8 o'clock against the Filthballers, and they might have to win that one to take the regular season title, as they are in a tie game with the Black Sox going to the bottom of the 6th here on the Corn Belt League Network. Bottom of the 6th inning, brand new ball game at JJ Isaacson Field as the Black Sox have tied it at 3. Black Sox, the second best team in the league according to the standings. Filthballers #1 at 19-4. They are on level ground now through 5.5 as Aaron Madden takes the ball after Rylan Wallingford goes through 5 innings. He gives up 8 hits, walks 2, strikes out 4, allowing 3 runs, 2 of them earned.
Yeah, Madden this season has truly been the ace for this group. 30 innings pitch, and just been a guy to get a lot of different outs.
He gives up a base hit to Derek Sr., who is on yet again, already a walk and a reach on an error. And yet again, he will be pinch ran for. Caden Mathewson at first base.
Courtesy runner at first base from Buena Vista, number 30, Caden Mathewson.
That brings up Jason Carrig, who is 0 for 1 with a pop out and a walk.
College, number 22,
Go ahead
Jason
run
Carrig.
is right back on base for the Filthballers, and after 2 Aaron Madden pitches, we'll have a mound meeting.
I think if you're going to Madden here, is a Reidy, looks like, I'm quite sure who is out there in the bullpen, but is a Reidy out in the bullpen for the Black Sox to see if Madden is needed to be relieved, and does have 3 days of rest coming into this one. Last pitch on July 15th up against the Haymakers. Did go pretty considerable ways in that one, 5 innings and 70 pitches in that one, but I think for Coach Sunigal now, you just have to make sure that you keep this where it's at. Especially with Noah Wing, who has just been so dominant this season over in the bullpen, probably going to be set up to be the closer for the Filthballers in the 7th. You're leaning on your ace to be in an odd spot, a different spot for him. The one where the Black Sox really need him to figure a way to get out of this inning.
Based on prior usage, the 3 guys you would think are available for the Black Sox out of the pen: Caleb Horton, Eli Cernkovich, and Nick Davidson.
Yeah, Cernkovich, another guy that's kind of had to work back and forth between starting and relieving this season. We've seen him kind of even sometimes even fight with Madden for the #1 spot a little bit, but haven't even seen him the last 5 days. Again, I think we both talked about kind of a little bit surprised that he didn't even get the start today, but Wallingford definitely did his job to keep the Black Sox in, and that's why it's a tie ball game. I think you got to give a lot of credit to him. A guy, again, does not have a ton of starting experience this season and comes out in a really big spot up against arguably the best offensive team in the league this season and gives 5 really quality innings.
1-1 the count on Jason Carrig, who showed bunt, fouled it away first time, and now he pulls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aaron Madden, last appearance was a start against the Haymakers on Friday, went 5 innings, giving up 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts. Didn't walk anybody, which was a good change of pace for him after he walked 5 in 5 innings the previous go-around against the same Haymakers team on July 10th.
Again, just his 2nd relief appearance this season, so last time he did come out was July 7th against the Royal Blue Dogs, another kind of closing spot for him. Just 8 pitches in that one. Did also have a walk, but a double play and another out for Madden is able to shut it down against the Royal Blue Dogs. So again, I think kind of a flip role here between Madden and Wallingford. You see a guy who started, usually relieves, and now Madden, a guy who is consistently the main starter, being in a different spot here. And again, the preparation is different. I think for a guy like Madden, even could be a little bit wound down as he's thrown at least 30 warm-up pitches coming into this one.
Caleb Horton is the man in the bullpen for the Black Sox, and he might have to warm up a little quicker. Base hit left field. With 2 strikes against him, Jason Carrig shoots one the other way, and the first 2 have reached on singles for the Filthballers. Trace Mahacek coming up.
Yeah, again, a really disciplined at-bat right there from Carrig. And he's been a guy that I've really liked so far here in this. We talk so much about Anderson and Geezer and Winterstein, but Carrig's been a guy that just gets quality at-bat, shoots it the other way, figures a way to get the team back in a promising position, and he did just right there with that AB.
So now Mahacek 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-out, and he's going after the first pitch. Fly ball right field. Crane comes in, now drifting toward the line, makes the catch, and tag bluffed at second base. Mathewson goes back, and Madden gets his first out on the first pitch to Mahacek.
Again, it's really been mainly all fastball so far from Madden, but again, got Mahacek a little bit to miss there and got underneath it to pop it up. See Madden also work a curveball and a change, but I think here if you're Madden, either set it up for Horton, who could be the guy coming in the 7th if they get there, but time here to hunker down and get these last 2 outs without giving the Filthballers any chance to take back the lead.
Now it's Nolan Christensen, the 9-hitter, and he might just be finding his stroke again after cold stretch to start July. 2 for 2 with a couple singles. The last one was a rocket to the opposite field. Mathewson at second, Carrig at first, 1 down in the inning. As Christensen shows bunt and takes an off-speed pitch on the outside, strike 1.
Yeah, there's that curveball. I really like the way that moves. It's not quite a 12-6. It's more kind of an 11-5 look, but definitely has really good movement out of the hand. But it's easy. The only difference with that is it's pretty easy to really tell coming out of the hand what's coming at you. We'll see if he works it again, working him against a really strong day from Christensen.
Look at that curveball. Bending down into the zone, it's 0-2. Horton has gone back into the dugout, ending his warm-up for now for the Black Sox.
Yeah, there's that 12-6. Madden did a really good job of just motioning through that, really getting that arm entirely over his head. I think maybe here you can either go to curveball 3rd time. Not a lot of guys are going to think a curveball coming at you 3 straight pitches.
It is a curveball, and it's a strikeout looking. Christensen watches 3 consecutive curves and takes a backwards K after going 2 for 2. What a job by Madden.
That right there, that pitch more than anything. It wasn't the placement. It wasn't the pitch itself. It was the mind games back and forth, right? You give 2 curveballs. You're working backwards up against a really strong hitter today in Christensen. Not a lot of guys are going to think you're going to go 3 straight off-speed, which you've only seen 1 off-speed in the last 2 batters. But Madden did a really good job being able to put that through. And honestly, even a better call from Workman.
Great jump on the pitch in the dirt. Both runners move up, and now 2nd and 3rd with 2 away. Do have a pinch hitter for Chase DeLoach. It's Hunter Scruggs, who has belted a home run this year. 9 runs batted in, the batting average above 300. Home plate umpire brushing off the plate after that pitch was spiked from Madden. Want to know the count. Scruggs 2 for 4 against the Black Sox this year, and one of the 2 hits was a home run. Gets ahead 2-0.
Again, do have to understand that you do have a base open here if you're Madden. Got to find a way out of this 6th and allow your offense to take back the lead in the 7th, but cannot give too much here, especially down in the count. Try to nibble in the outer half, make sure you get a call.
Scruggs not happy with himself for making contact with that. A little check swing on a 2-0 pitch upstairs, and he taps it foul. 2-1. Get a good look in at Aaron Madden after the great 3 curveball sequence to Christensen for the 2nd out on the strikeout looking. See what he can do. Big pitch coming on 2-1 to Scruggs. And he went around. May have been a strike anyway on the outside. 2-2.
Big pitch coming here from Madden. Again, do have a pitch to waste if you wanted, but I think if you're working behind the plate, this is the pitch to get him. We try to work some off speed to get him to chase. Cannot give him too much over middle. Got to be your best pitch here.
Lined left field, fair ball going to the left field corner, and the Filthballers will get 2. Scruggs motoring towards second base. He's in with a double, and the Filthballers, after giving up 2 in the top of the 6th, answer right back with a pair, and their lead is 5-3.
I just said it. Cannot give anything over the middle of the plate. You have to make sure he's going to give you that swing, and not the case right there. A big pick-me-up. Pinch hit double right there for Hunter Scruggs. He saw the fastball out of the hand and able to work his hands beautifully through the ball there, the barrel. You could hear that off the bat. It was shot down the left field line. And, man, that just entirely changes this game.
Scruggs comes off the bench and drives in 2. His 2nd double of the year against the Black Sox. Chase DeLoach pinch runs for him at second base after Scruggs pinch hit for DeLoach. Ball 1 to Trevor Winterstein, who's 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored.
A good thing there, too, that allows your defense to keep DeLoach there, at least for the ability if he needs to go out into the outfield, if you have any kind of switches. But if you want to keep Christensen, Anderson, and Winterstein out there, you can still have a Speedy DeLoach available if need be, still in the lineup.
1-0 pitch, up and away to Winterstein, 2-0. Aaron Madden started this inning for the Black Sox, but he has given up 2 runs in 2 1/3 innings, or 2/3 of an inning pitched. See if he can get out of it. Behind on Winterstein, and it's lined, shallow left field. That one's down. DeLoach can fly. Here he comes around third. The throw from Hagan is up the line. Madden backs it up, flings it down to second, but not in time to get Winterstein. And his RBI single makes this 6-3 game, and the Filthballers, again, all with 2 outs, are delivering offensively in the late frames.
Good teams find ways to win. That's the thing that we've heard so many different times from the Filthballers this season. You even talked to Winterstein 2 days ago. That's kind of the emphasis for them. Sometimes the offense isn't always going to be there to the extent that they want it, but being able to find ways to come in clutch in later half situations, they've been able to do it here up against Aaron Madden. Again, a tough spot if you're Coach Sunigal. Who do you go to next? And it's not a bad look. You go to the guy you've been able to rely on all season long to get you outs, but the Filthballers have been able to touch him up a little bit here in the 6th.
Landon Geezer to center field. Larkin has a beat on it. He makes the catch. Lead restored for the Filthballers. It's 6-3, and they are now 3 outs away from a regular season Corn Belt League title. We'll be back for the top of the 7th. Black Sox trying to keep their hopes alive when we return. Top of the 7th inning, Noah Wing, the closer, is on to try and shut things down and secure a regular season title for the Filthballers. With a 3-run bottom of the 6th, they have taken a 6-3 lead. And Jaden, all 9 runs between both the Black Sox and Filthballers have been scored with 2 outs today.
That's astonishing to think that. I mean, every single time we've seen these pitchers start off pretty strong, maybe give up 1 base runner here or there, but just really good 2-out approaches by both of these teams to find ways to get balls in the outfield to drop, and just been able to keep the offense at least there up against some really good pitching that we've seen here today. Aaron Madden, who's normally been one of the best pitchers in the league this season, kind of struggled this past inning. Wallingford had a strong day. Drury had a strong day, but again, really good jobs by both these offenses just to find ways to get runs across even when they may seem like they're in tough spots.
0-2 on the bottom of the order, Christian Harris. So Justin Drury, the Filthballers starter, went 5 innings, allowing 2 earned runs. Didn't strike out anybody, but got the job done. And then Ty Faulkner through the 6th inning, allowing 1 earned run on 3 hits. And now Noah Wing. That is way up and in to the backstop, 1-2.
Now Wing has been the set closer all season long. Has not had an outing over 1 inning so far this season, but that fastball is going to be there, and it's going to be lively. Upper 80s to low 90s, can sometimes touch 91, 92, and he's been a guy that just lived for this role so far this season for the Filthballers, and was kind of in the same spot last year for them, and it's kind of fed into this kind of role for him. This is why he's here. This is why he's on this team. And you talk about the depth of pitching. He's been this closer spot that Hobbs has really been in touch with to allow him to be.
All the way again. Christian Harris putting up a good fight to lead off the inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes still. Win with an ERA of 4.5. He has not allowed a run in either of his last 2 appearances. Last Monday against the Red Raiders threw 1 scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts, and then he did just 6 pitches, 2 strikeouts on 2/3 of an inning Thursday against the Haymakers. And he's got a strikeout of Christian Harris, 1 away in the 7th.
And again, really the only time that Wing has kind of been touched up a little bit was June 30th against the Crop Dusters. That big win for the Crop Dusters, the longest outing that we've seen from him this season. 32 pitches in 1 inning of work, 2 earned runs coming in. But outside of that, Wing has been dominant. He's showing it off right now, hoping to secure this regular season title here for the Filthballers.
Ball one inside to Darius Hagan. Left fielder 1 for 3 with a single. On the ground at third and past Geezer down the left field line. Hagan can fly. He's on his way to second and he's out. Trevor Winterstein throws him out at second base. He tried the swim slide but couldn't get around the tag of Carrig, and there are 2 away.
What a throw by Winterstein down the left field line. Just a beautiful throw right into the glove of Jason Carrig. And again, how about a job by Carrig to set up really well. And again, that left foot was right on the bag. It not only forced him away from the bag for Larkin away from there, Hagan away from the bag, but really set himself up to be right in line with that throw. Again, right after we thought maybe something going here in the 7th for the Black Sox, it's just put away right after just one big throw.
2-0 on Caden Young. Young 0 for 3. He is the one who stands between the Filthballers and the regular season title. Just 1 out away. Dual pitch. Popped up. On the infield, this should be it. And the catch is made. It's short by Jackson Horn, and the Filthballers are Corn Belt League regular season champions. They have clinched the #1 seed in the postseason with a 6-3 victory over the Black Sox. Jaden, they were the top team in the league all year long, and they have solidified themselves atop the standings to end the year.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first around the corn this season. We kind of introduced the league to all these different players. It was a question of how could the Filthballers defend their title once again here in the Corn Belt League? And talking to Coach Hobbs, it was all about team ball, and that's been the biggest thing that we've seen from the Filthballers this season. There's been big guys and big showcase players like C.J. Fleeman, Brendan Anderson, Landon Geezer. But the biggest thing for them has been the depth. So many guys able to come up in big positions and help them out. And a big case in point here was Noah Wing as well as Hunter Scruggs.
It was just them Filthballers all year long. They go wire to wire and take the regular season championship, and we will be back in just a moment with our player of the game, our Kelly Supply Company player of the game from the Filthballers. Coming up next on the Corn Belt League Network. Welcome back to JJ Isaacson Field. The Filthballers take on the Black Sox 6-3 and clinch the 2022 Corn Belt League regular season title, and they also secure the #1 seed headed into postseason play beginning next week. And I am here with our Kelly Supply Company players of the game, with the title being clinched. We got to have two of them, Brendan Anderson alongside Hunter Scruggs here. Brendan, I'm going to start with you. I think the only thing that you had been missing on your impressive stat line this season was a home run, and you finally got your first one today. Solo shot in the 5th inning with 2 outs, and you knew it when you hit it down the line. A little bit of a baffle at the home plate. Take me through that moment there in the 5th.
I've hit a couple balls really hard that have gone really far, but they've all been foul, and I finally was able to keep one straight today. And I was standing at the plate just hoping it was staying fair. So
Yeah, so next thing here, talking to you all along this season, you're definitely a team-first guy, but what does it mean to you to be able to win this regular season title with this group of teammates this year?
Oh, it's huge. I love these guys. Playing with these guys every single day has been a ton of fun. And when you win, it's so much fun. So, I mean, all we're trying to do is come out here and win baseball games and have fun doing it. And playing baseball is a lot more fun when you're winning.
Absolutely. And then last thing for you, as we approach the postseason next week, what makes this Filthballer team so special? What's this team all about for you?
For me, it's the top to bottom. Every single guy on this team can play. Every single guy can be defensive. Every single guy can hit. Every single guy can run. And then at the helm of it, we have Hops, who's a baseball-first guy, who's a very fundamental guy and just wants us to play pure baseball. And that always helps.
So we'll move on to Hunter Scruggs, another one of the heroes of this 6-3 win. 2-run go-ahead pinch hit double in the 6th inning after the Black Sox had tied the game up at 3. Just take me through what you're looking for in that at bat and how the situation played out through your eyes.
Oh, yeah. So, I was just looking to put something in play, hopefully find a gap, just trying to piece a ball, and I was fortunate enough to get a runner on second and third, and he missed with an inside fastball, and I took advantage of it. So that's just all that was going through my head.
And what was your preparation looking like coming into that at bat? Did you know at any point in the game that you might be pinch hitting later on?
No, I didn't necessarily know I was going to come in, but when my name was called, I went out, took some swings, and then just as the game progressed, I was just fortunate enough to get in that situation.
So last question, same thing I asked Brennan. What does it mean to you to win the title with this group of guys heading into the postseason next week?
It's just been a fun season. This is my first time playing in a summer league, we just have a great group of guys. It doesn't matter who we got in the lineup. We know guys are going to get the job done. So it's just been really fun.
Brennan Anderson, Hunter Scruggs, our Kelly Supply Company players of the game, and members of the 2022 Corn Belt League regular season champions, the Filthballers. They take down the Black Sox 6-3, and I'll let you guys head right back down to the field. You got another one coming up against the Bombers at 8 o'clock, and we will have that one for you here on the Corn Belt League Network, rolling along with our Tuesday night baseball showcase.